So Jimmy Kimmel responded to the start of YouTube gaming. We reported on it. Jimmy Kimmel has a very good late night talk show. I like Jimmy Kimmel. I like him a lot.
We're basically best friends with Jimmy Kimmel.
He's not. He
name dropping.
We hung out a few years ago. I don't know. We played.
Ooh, that party was insane.
He likes the 32X. Who would have thought? During his monologue, he did an innocuous, like 2-minute little jokey video about the launch of YouTube.
And why
gaming.
the fuck do people watch Let's Players?
Basically, it came down to not understanding the Let's Play market.
Sure.
And so it was a fake commercial like, now coming to YouTube, you can watch gamers playing games. But coming soon, you can watch gamers watching people playing games. So it kept pancaking where you had a guy watching something else. And it was just a silly sort of video where, oh, it's laughing, you're making fun of Let's Plays.
Right.
I've made fun of Let's Plays before.
We
South Park's made fun of Let's Plays before. Apparently, YouTube and people who like games didn't really like that and gave just the most vitriolic responses, and it was like 90% thumbs down to the video.
Well,
and I thought it was entertaining just because Jimmy Kimmel then responded a few days later saying, oh, I've gotten all this hatred, and then ran through the list of all the hatred he got, and some of, like, you know, people threatening violence against him. Some were actually funny, he admitted, but
he admitted some were funny, but some, I mean, were threatened violence against him. Some told him to kill himself. And what he even said on a more serious note was, he's like, you'd be surprised at how much of this was aimed at my wife and kids.
Sure.
And I mean, everyone bitches about, like, so many video game players bitch about how they're cast in a poor light. Here's an idea. Why not, how about we don't fly off the fucking deep end every single time someone says something about our hobby that is even remotely joking or negative? I mean, it's innocuous. The guy doesn't understand games that much. He certainly doesn't understand Let's Plays. I play video games and I don't really understand Let's Plays. I mean, it's just, it's stupid. And, you know, this is mimicking something I read in an article elsewhere, but, you know, they made a good point. He's a comedian by trade, right? Okay, this is what he does. He pokes fun at shit every night. Politics, religion, sex, all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was the reaction from video gamers that was so intense that he felt the need to address it again on his show.
Yeah, he's actually upset people enough to actually march in front of his studio. Like, he's actually upset people on a much smaller scale. Here's the thing, though. He put the video on YouTube. If he didn't, no one would have watched it, because a lot of people on YouTube don't watch TV, especially late night. Puts it on YouTube. YouTube is a big chunk of its gaming. Obviously, YouTube gaming, there's a spin-off site. There's no spin-off site for cars. There's no spin-off site for political talk on YouTube for gaming. Yes, it's a huge chunk.
But there are people who are very much into politics who will watch his show every night, and they will probably not agree with him, and he probably does not get the same sort of betrayal and hatred.
But that's another point about it's the audience. I hate to say
that's what I'm saying, yes.
Gamers have a bad rap, and a lot of it's deserved.
It's earned. Because you act like fucking babies.
Yeah, well, you know, it comes down to individuals being bad.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at I did look at some of the responses, and some were trying to, which I thought was actually cute, trying to explain why Let's Plays were so good. And it's like, okay, you have a big comment, maybe you have YouTube fans, you actually get to shine a light on your channel by leaving a comment, because people can read it, gets thumbs up, whatever. People are trying to say, well, you watch sports, we watch esports. It's, you know, it's the same thing. I'm not going to get into why that's kind of silly to say something like that, but whatever. The whole point is that you're yelling at a guy who doesn't give a shit.
Right.
To begin with. He's getting more material for this. He gets most of his views off a different audience that aren't watching gaming on YouTube. His audience are watching on TV, or maybe they're fans like Conan O'Brien and watching clips like that. But he's being himself. He's not pandering. He's a comedian. He's just going with what he thinks is funny. And you're attacking him like a fucking baby.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Like a spoiled, rotten shit.
Are you at the point now, I consider myself a gamer in some respects, but that's not my identity. I think that's a problem with whether it's identity in politics or in your hobby, is that you can more easily get offended when stuff like this happens. Because to you, that's your entire world. I am a gamer. You are insulting my world. You're insulting me. This is all I have to stake my existence on. And that's a very dangerous place to go. But unfortunately, that's where a lot of people are with their hobbies, where they're just so singularly minded on what they do and identifying it with who they are being that, and that's it. And this is the result, though. People don't know how to handle it.
Well, people will chime in, I'm sure. And I mean, it's because it's off the cuff, but I'm hard pressed to think of a hobby, because that's what gaming is. It's a hobby. I'm hard pressed to think of a hobby that is so treated like a lifestyle, which is why I feel like the reaction gets as strong as it is, because these people spend their entire lives embroiled in or entrenched in this hobby, and they feel like their very life is being attacked, and it's not.
Yeah, I don't see this happening with sports fans, guys that are like hardcore. I don't see this happening. I don't see them reacting the same way as a gamer would. I just don't.
No.
I don't. Maybe.
And there are lots of sports fans that will adopt sports. Like they will be as into sports as people will be into games. But I don't know how to say it. To phrase it properly, but it's all too very personal, and I almost feel like there's a lot of gamers who want to be upset. There's this persecution complex that I don't feel like has existed since the late 90s.
Well, I think in general there's sort of this victim persecution complex that social media has encouraged. This could be a side effect of it, but in general, gamers are the most pleasant in their interaction, in online games. Not saying all, but they're not known to be pleasant with each other to begin with. So why would they be pleasant whether they're discussing PS4 sucks, Xbox One is better, whether they're discussing you suck at this game, I'm better while you're playing, that's the worst trash talk ever, and chat. But you see what I mean, though? A lot of gaming is competitive by nature, but then it's an ugly side of the competitiveness, and maybe that comes out in social interaction on top of that.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, though. I applaud Jimmy Kimmel for not pretending he likes this, because he could more easily have gotten, if he threw his integrity into the dirt, gotten way more fans by saying, oh, I like this. Someone like Conan O'Brien really, in my eyes, took a big hit. Now Conan O'Brien does a lot of video game stuff. He's playing with developers. Conan O'Brien doesn't give a shit about these games. He was never a gamer. It's very convenient that all of a sudden he starts doing game videos the past couple of years with publishers like he starts playing Mortal Kombat with guys in the NFL. All I'm saying is this:
I don't know these guys personally. I don't know what they do in their free time. I do agree with you that if Jimmy Kimmel does not like it or does not understand it, which is obviously he doesn't, he is not faking it. But I'm on the other side of the coin. I cannot say that Conan is faking it.
He's got a lot more balls in order to say, you know what, I don't understand it, and I'm going to trash it for a joke. And you know what, the joke was funny.
But what if Conan actually likes games? Does he have no balls because he likes games and he's doing something that's popular right now?
If he liked the games, he should have been doing this for the past 8, 9, 10 years, and not only because it's popular on YouTube now. That's all I'm saying. He's trying to get, he's the only guy doing it. You don't see.
I don't watch this shit either way. I'm just saying. I can't state to know these people personally. But yes, I agree.
I like Conan, but I just think it's kind of cheasy that he's doing that now.
I do admit that Kimmel, took the harder path there.
Oh yeah, he always does though. He back when there was a Conan versus Leno thing. Oh, Kimmel gave Leno so much shit, most out of all of that. Mm-hmm. He gave more than Conan did. He gave him more than even Letterman was giving.
Oh, he was pretty.
Kimmel was vicious, going for the throat.
Brutal.
It was fantastic. So all right, so calm down. Some guy who's doesn't care about what you're doing anyway in your hobby, making a joke about it. It's just calm down.
Yeah, how's it affecting you? It's not taking away your video games.
You're not less of a person.
Whether I'm not even going to go by name, but any video game controversy in the past 2-3 years, it always seems to boil down to these people thinking that their video games are going to go away or something's going to change. You know what? Nothing's going to fucking change. You're going to get your video games. Jimmy Kimmel's opinion of Let's Plays does not change the fact that next week you can go out and buy Metal Gear Solid.
You can still waste
You
can still waste your entire weekend playing games if you want to. You can do it.
Yeah, it's okay.
You don't have to see the sunshine anymore. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy.